This one makes me laugh, right? This one makes me laugh because this is a story non-story. A story non-story, okay, is about Assassin's Creed is 2025's second best-selling game in the U.S., right? Remember, they had to put the U.S. They had to put the U.S., not in the world, in the U.S., right? Because you gotta move the goalpost. Our goalpost is still obliterated, okay? You got to make sure you specifically say, like my channel is the largest channel in the demographic of people in the United States on the East Coast on a Tuesday at 10:27 a.m., right? Like, you see what I'm saying? And the East Coast, right? You gotta really fine tune the actual thing. So Assassin's Creed Shadows is 2025's second best-selling game in the U.S. Now, if you like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday. We talk about news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5, okay? This is a non-story, and I'll tell you why. Okay, Assassin's Creed Shadows is 2025's second best-selling game in the U.S. The game trails only Monster Hunter Wilds. You see what they're trying to do here? They're trying to post, because we know the sales numbers of Monster Hunter, which they were very vocal about, saying it was 10 million units sold. So we know that number. We don't know Assassin's Creed's numbers because they've never said their sales numbers. They have said that they sold numbers of players, 3 million players in the first 7 days. Okay, so in the first week, they had 3 million players, but we don't know the sale. Now, we do know Split Fiction had 2 million sales in 1 week, and they had more than that, but in the U.S., not in the world, right? So Assassin's Creed Shadows in 2025, second best-selling game in the U.S. Let's continue. Assassin's Creed Shadows is the second best-selling game of the year, according to the data from Scrutiny. Okay, the game trails only Monster Hunter Wilds in the overall year-to-date charts in the U.S. Circana's Matt Piscatella noted that Assassin's Creed Shadows has been the best-selling game in the U.S. for its first 3 weeks of the market. Where's the sales? Where's the sales? Just show the sales. This whole conversation's over. The conversation's over if you just show the sales, right? It's the second best-selling game in the U.S. Trust me, bro. Show the sales, okay? While the game suffered a protracted development, which also included several delays, strong reviews, and positive player sentiment have seamlessly turned the game into a modest hit for Ubisoft. So Matt Piscatella over on Blue Sky, and this is funny, again, Blue Sky, which is, I think it's got like 30 million, 33 million people that are using the platform. Meanwhile, X has almost 700 million people using the platform. It says, here's a fun one, right? And I love the way it's written. Here's a fun one. You guys know Assassin's Creed Shadows has been best-selling video game in the U.S. for each of its first 3 weeks in the market. According to Circana's retail traffic service, dollar sales latest data through April 5th. Where is the data? Just show the numbers. Show the numbers. The game was hit in the UK too, shifting more physical copies in 1 week than the fellow Ubisoft game, Star Wars Outlaws, managed in 3 months. That's not a good sign, by the way. By taking your own game and comparing it to your other shittier game that didn't sell well, because we do know Star Wars sold 1.5 million units in a month, okay? We don't know their sales after that, because they only told us they only sold 1.5 million units in a month. So comparing it to that, what am I supposed to be like? Oh, well, you did beat that shitty game that didn't sell well. Assassin's Creed Shadows is also the biggest physical launch of the year, ahead of Monster Hunter Wilds. According to data provided by VGC, Shadows was the series' second best launch ever. Where? In the world? In the United States? Because this right here, Assassin's Creed, also the biggest physical launch of the year. This is the second best game in the United States, claim, okay, in the first 3 weeks. But now you're telling me it's also the biggest physical launch of the year. Yet no numbers. Let's just keep saying stuff, okay? The game, which also launched on console and PC last week, marked the first major Ubisoft game to release day one on Steam since 2019. Previously, the publisher prioritized its own digital store as well as the Epic Game Store at launch. Now, let me read this again. The game, which launched on console and PC last week, marked the first major Ubisoft game to release day one in Steam since 2019. Didn't Star Wars Outlaws launch on Steam, or did it not launch on Steam? Maybe it didn't launch on day one. Maybe it came after. VGC's Assassin's Creed Shadows review, he wrote, with excellent gameplay, compelling narrative, and massive, beautiful world to explore, it's much better than many expected to be. Even if it's not the game that saves Ubisoft, it did exactly what it needed to do. Did it? We don't know the budget. The leaked budget is somewhere upwards of $350 to $400 million, which means they have to sell 7 million copies. If that's the truth, $350 to $400 million was the budget, and it needs to sell about 7 to 8 million units. Without knowing the budget and not showing us the sales, this is a fat zero. You can claim anything you want. Until you show us numbers, it doesn't matter. Now, it goes back both ways. It doesn't matter if it's a success or not for us because we're not the ones. You're the ones bragging about it. You're the ones bragging about the 1 million. You're players. You're the ones bragging about the 2 million players. You're the ones bragging about the 3 million players. But yet they went completely silent after the first week. They haven't said anything after the 3 million players. There is no data to the public in any way, shape, or form. And Mr. Matt Pescatella here says that he has the data, but yet doesn't show the data. So how are we supposed to take? He might be correct, 100% correct. But am I supposed to just trust anyone that just says something and say, trust me, bro? You got to show the data. Okay. So even if it's not the game that saves Ubisoft, it did exactly what it needed to do. Did it? Bringing the confidence back to the modern gaming biggest and most troubled franchise. Let me tell you something. If this was selling well, you could go look at the stock market right now for Ubisoft, and did it go up or down? Because if it was selling well, that number would be going up. If it didn't sell well, then it would stay where it is or go down. Shadows also arrived during a pivotal moment for the publisher Ubisoft following several underperforming releases and worsening financial outlook. Ubisoft said in January it was taking decisive steps to reshape the company and actively explore various strategic and capitalistic options to unlock a full value potential in assets. Don't you love that they hype it up, right? Look at the structure of the article, okay? Now, obviously, Matt Piscatella didn't write the article. He just wrote the tweet, right? Mr. VGC here wrote the article. They start off by telling you that Monster Hunter, we know that price because it's 10 million units, right? And they raise it up and they say Assassin's Creed is the second best selling in the US, right? Let's shrink that down, right? Then they hype it up even more. Well, it did better than Star Wars Outlaw did in 3 months, okay? Oh, it's got the most physical sales. It also did well in the UK. But then here at the bottom, the last 2 paragraphs, right? They're putting stipulation. Well, even if it's not the game that Ubisoft needed, it did exactly what it needed to do. It brings confidence. Does it bring confidence? Because the stock price is not going up. I don't see confidence there. Okay. And then Shadows also arrived during a pivotal moment when they were all having trouble. Okay. Listen, I personally don't care if Assassin's Creed Shadows sells 15 million copies. I don't, right? It could be the most successful game that Ubisoft has ever done. The fact that people pick a side and are like rooting it for it like it's a sports is just silly to me. I don't care. I look at facts, and there is no facts here. The facts that we know is it's got 3 million players playing the game. We do not know sales numbers at all. We do not know the amount of people buying it or playing it, okay, over on Ubisoft Plus. We have no sales data in the physical copies, digital copies, GameStop, US, UK, doesn't matter. There is no numbers, and yet people are coming out saying it's the second best-selling game. Show us proof. Just show the actual number and the end of story. But they don't do it that way. They do it because it's all bullshit. They do this to get clicks. They do this to pretend that you're a hater. They do this for all these reasons other than just telling you the numbers of the actual game. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the Assassin's Creed being the second biggest game in the U.S. up to this point in the last 3 weeks of 2025 in the month of March. Okay? Let me know what your comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat what you guys think about this. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.